Welcome to Uncommon Analysis. Today, this is a video, and I know this means probably gonna. I find this meme amusing. And my point today, I'd like to talk about is the reaction to the election and the meltdowns that have been going on now, particularly on those that bought into the left's insanity and hyperbole and fear mongering, and how they have just been untenable and irrational and just inexcusable the behavior. I don't know why anyone ever would want to say, let me record myself acting like a child, screaming like a baby, uh, just behaving like a petulant 2-year-old and post that out for the world to consume. But apparently that's the world today, and it has been for the left for quite a while. Now, I'm not going to defend any of that behavior, obviously. I am not going to mock it today either, beyond those statements that I think it was, and it's just indeedly childish and petty and pointless and petulant and just insane. Um, but the point of this video is really to show the the just gross incompetence. The competence not even the really word. Inhumanity. The gross inhumanity of the people who fed these lies to their base and the fear mongering they engaged in to just whip up emotions to get votes. These people are evil people. These people are unredeemable people. The people that did this are absolutely without character, without compassion, and without integrity. I'm sorry, they are. And both sides of the aisle do this. Don't get me wrong. This is not something that is exclusively on the left. But on this election in particular, they went outside. They went right to the insane political hyperbole right out of the gate because they had nothing. They offered nothing. They came out with a joyous campaign. Remember, she was the candidate of joy for a week, for at least a week, right? When the convention was going on, every political pundit, every reporter, oh, it's just so joyous. You could tell they got their marching orders, they got their paperwork, they got their daily talking points from the DNC, and they just happily repeated them. Oh, it's so joyful here. She's such a joyous candidate. Isn't it so wonderful to have positivity? Really? Positivity? Positivity. Positivity. This was not a campaign of positivity, folks. This was a campaign of fear mongering. This is a campaign of lying. This was a campaign that basically had nothing and just went out and lied and lied and lied to the public and to anyone who would listen. They lied to their base. They lied to their supporters. They whipped them up into a frenzy, told them all kinds of lies and nonsense just to get them emotionally invested so they would show up and vote. And then the vote happened. And of course, they lost. And then you had what you're seeing going on right now. You're seeing people completely losing it. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of mock videos. If you came here expecting a mock video where we're going to make fun of these people, go elsewhere. They're out there. And I'm not judging the people who mock them. This was a total victory after these people have spit in our faces for, 9 years and lied about Trump and about his supporters and called us every name in the book, from Nazis to fascists to garbage to deplorables, you name it. So enjoy the moment, guys. I have no problem. You want to go out there and throw some mud in these people's faces, but that's not the purpose of this video. Okay, I'm not going to mock these people for this. I want to explain why this is the way these people are reacting is part and parcel to how evil the Democratic leadership is, how evil the Kamala campaign was, how evil Kamala Harris herself was. I'm sorry, Kamala cannot separate herself from this. You don't believe me? Let's look at the tape. Let's actually look at the tape here. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. This is Kamala Harris. This is Kamala Harris out there in her own words, repeating a debunked story that had been debunked years ago. Years ago. This allegation that Trump had said these things and done these things. Other people in the room had already come out multiple times and debunked this and said, no, that never, ever happened. People in the room, when this guy claims it was said this never happened. But they ran with it last minute, another story, rehashing it, right? so they could try to influence the election. And what does the sitting vice president of the United States do? This is the sitting vice president of the United States coming out here and basically saying her political opponent is a fascist and a Nazi. You want to hear it? Don't take my word for it. Here it is.
That Donald Trump is someone who, I quote, certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, who in fact vowed to be a dictator on day one and vowed to use the military as his personal militia to carry out his personal and political vendettas. Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable. And in a second term, people like John Kelly would not be there to be the guardrails against his propensities and his actions. Those who once tried to stop him from pursuing his worst impulses would no longer be there.
Now, understand, that is the sitting president, sorry, the sitting vice president of the United States repeating garbage and calling her political opponent a fascist and a Nazi, right? She's out there saying if he wins the election, it's the end of the world. This isn't some surrogate. This isn't some far right surrogate that's, just trying to whip it out. This is some influencer on TikTok. This is some idiot like, what's his face? All those other Gen Z idiots that were out there that they paid to say all kinds of crap on TikTok against Trump. This is the sitting vice president saying these things. And she said them repeatedly. This isn't something new. This isn't a one-time thing. She repeated these allegations throughout the campaign. This is fear-mongering, and this is all it was. But unfortunately, they didn't care because you know why they don't care? Because James Carville said it the most succinctly I've ever seen it said, and it's not he didn't invent this statement by any stretch, but it's another one of his things. Winning is everything, stupid, right? Doesn't matter how you win, just long because in politics, if you don't win, you don't got power. So winning is everything. And it does not matter how you win. It doesn't matter the means in which you win. It doesn't matter what you do to win. You have to win. The ends justify the means, right? We're all taught, at least we should be taught as children growing up, the ends don't justify the means, right? You should be a moral person. These people are immoral people. Now, don't think for 1 minute I'm letting Republicans off the hook here. Republicans do the same shit. Maybe not to this extreme. They maybe not go to this hyperbole to the extreme where they're calling, their opponents evil. But look at the crap that came out of the RNC against, for example, Fetterman in the last election. It's a perfect example. Or, how they attacked him and the names they called him and the way it was going to be the end of the world if he won that. And I go to this election a lot because I was hands on there. That was Fetterman versus Oz. Those were my senators. That was my Senate seat for my state 2 years ago, and it was despicable. It was despicable what the RNC was doing back then. It was unjustifiable. Okay, so don't think I'm saying this is just one sided. This kind of crap goes on. Even in this election, there were people within the Republican side of the aisle, the right wing side of the aisle, saying absolutely horrific things. And they do it. It's the end of our democracy. Now that was another one the left did. So the left at this time was at the end of democracy if Trump wins. He's a fascist. It's this. He's a Nazi. The world's going to end. They're going to come and just kill everybody that doesn't lock up his political opponents and all this other nonsense, which is just that nonsense. You know, oh, he talked about putting Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad. No, he didn't, Joe Scarborough. No, he didn't. He basically said it's real easy for someone who doesn't have to face the guns of the enemy to send young men out to die. That's a liberal argument. That's a classically liberal argument. That's basically what you would expect a hippie to say out of the Vietnam era, and they did. Because it's true. It's real easy to send a young man out to fight and die when you're not the one that's going to have to face the bullets. And that's all Trump said. But they somehow tried to spin that into Trump saying Liz Cheney should face a firing squad. Nonsense. But this is the crap they fed. They fed it day after day after day after day after day to people. And people bought it. They never viewed the people that bought as human beings. They didn't care about their feelings. They didn't care about their compassion. There was no compassion. There was no empathy. They did not care about those people at all beyond their vote. And I want to show you a perfect example of this. This is a woman, again, I'm not mocking this woman. I don't agree with this woman. I think there's people that have mocked her, and I think they're free to do that. I'm not showing you these videos to show that she deserves to be mocked. I'm showing these videos to show how little they cared for these people. They went straight to the most extreme political hyperbole to try to get votes out of people, to manipulate their emotions. They did it because they had nothing else. So I want to talk about this because I'm pissed. You can probably tell it my voice. I am pissed off. And every sane American should be pissed off. And if you are one of the women or men that fell for this garbage that Kamala and the surrogates around her fed this election, you should be pissed off at them too because they don't care about you. They don't care about you as a human being in any level. You are not a human being to them. You are not. I don't care what they say in front of cameras. I don't care what video they show of them smiling and kissing babies. They did not care about you. As a fundamental human being, as a creature of the Creator, you are not in any way, shape, or form human to these people. You are nothing more than a vote. And don't get me wrong, again, it's not just the left, but in this particular election, the left went ridiculously overboard right out of the gate, and they need to be called on it. So I'm going to show you a video now, and some of you probably have seen it, of a Harris supporter trying to deal with the fall of the election. All right, so let's start with this. This is going to start here. We're going to talk. It's the night of the election. She's realizing that it's probably not going to go well for Harris. She's kind of come to the realization. Let's watch this.
If Joe Biden is prepared for the collective meltdown that is about to happen, because I feel like if it's announced that Trump wins, I know I'm going to have a giant meltdown. I know a lot of people are going to have giant meltdowns. And are they prepared for the massive giant meltdown that's about to happen? Because they all know how friggin' scared we are.
Of course they know how scared she is. They're the ones that made her scared. She talks about it earlier in the video. I'm not going to go into the early parts because that's not relevant. We'll see it again later in the video. This woman is scared because they lied to her. They lied to her and they lied to her and they lied to her. And they knew they were lying to her. They didn't care. They just wanted to vote. But she believed it. She believed it. She is legitimately scared. She's legitimately scared. Let's go forward and look at some more of this. 343. Let's go here. Let's go to the next thing. It's a little bit later. Election night.
Not having a really good feeling about this, you guys. And I just want to know what the backup plan is, because surely Joe Biden, somebody surely thought they should come up with some sort of plan if he did win. So I just want to know what the backup plan is, because you just went a whole year scaring the hell out of me about Project 2025. And now it's about to happen, and you just think we're all just supposed to fucking go to work now?
All right. You can see she's having this is a real emotional reaction here. Because she believed the bullshit. And she even calls them out on it. You scared me for the last year. And they did. They did. They preached hate and fear to this woman and people like her for a year. And she believed it. She rationally understands she's fearmongered because she even says it. She's not rationally understand that it was just to get her vote. She really still believes the crap they fed her. And you believed it. This woman believed that. These people should be ashamed of themselves. The people that did this to this woman and others like her should be ashamed of themselves. This is what you did to people. You lied to them just to get their vote. They were not human beings to you. They were not creatures of God. They were nothing more than a vote. You lied to them. You know you lied to them. You are pathetic. You are absolutely garbage. You want to talk about garbage? The people that did this to this woman and other people like her, you are garbage. You are irredeemable. You should be ashamed of yourselves. But they won't. They won't. They've been doing this for decades, and they're not going to change. So let's move forward a little more. Here's a little more. I think this was the next day or two here. Yeah, this is a couple days later after the election. This is her listening to Robert P. Reich, the biggest moron on the planet, continuing to espouse fear. The election is now over, and he's going to continue to fearmonger. He's going to continue to repeat the lies, and she's going to swallow it. That's why she's listening. So let's go.
Today, millions must now live in fear of being swept up by Trump's cruel mass deportation plan. Documented immigrants, as well as undocumented, and millions of American citizens with undocumented parents or spouses. More Americans now must fear that they'll be forced to give birth or be denied life-saving care during an ectopic pregnancy or miscarriage. Today, America has become less safe for trans people. especially trans kids, who are already at risk of violence and discrimination. Anyone who has already faced prejudice and marginalization is now in greater danger.
So there you go. Still selling the bullshit. Still selling the lies. Yes, absolutely. If you're illegal, if you are here illegally, you absolutely have more of a chance to be deported now than you did before. But you should have never been in the first place. So let's just play that game out. Let's stop that nonsense. You're here illegally. You're not an undocumented immigrant. You're not. You can't immigrate without documentation. Immigration means I'm going to become part of the society I've moved to. I'm immigrating into that society. If you don't have your paperwork, you didn't come here legally, you're not an immigrant. You're an illegal alien. I'm not playing that left-wing garbage, verbiage, language, horse crap. Now, that one I'll give them. The rest of it's just total crap. Oh, you're more likely to die. You get up talk pros, you're gonna die. Not likely. They know that's a lie, but it's a fear-mongering thing they do. They know that trans kids, quote unquote, which is, let's not even get into that because that's a whole other, I don't even go down that path because they're so removed from the scientific evidence when they talk about that crap. That's another just fear-mongering thing. That's another divisive wedge they want to use to just keep a particular people and group of people from accepting reality and play their games. All right. More lies. Even after the election, they're still spewing the same horse shit to scare these people. All right, let's move forward. Let's move forward a little more here. 628. Here we are. A little further. This is where she starts to realize, and she realized, she even uses the word again, fear-mongered too. And she's going, what are we supposed to do now? She's still completely swallowed the lie. She has not she realized she's been lied to, but she has not come to grips with that lie is a lie. Like, what are we supposed to do? She realized she was scared. They lied to her. They drum up this fear in her, but they're not telling her what to do now. Now the election's over and their side lost. Oh my God, what am I supposed to do? They learn. Here's her lamenting she's been left out to dry. And again, she was going to be left out to dry because they don't care about you.
And I'm sorry, but I'm just pissed at everyone right now. So I
She's
heard
starting to
for
get it.
months and months
She's starting to get it.
that I needed to be afraid. I needed to be afraid of Project 2025. I was told that Trump was a fascist and a dictator. I was told it wasn't hyperbole. I told
was
that he was
hyperbole.
unhinged and he was going to be a tyrant and that all hell was going to break loose.
Not true.
And by the way, I think the election was completely bunk. I'm sorry. I know we don't want to sound like MAGA extremists, but I think the election was completely stolen. And I'm sorry. I'm just going to say that. And why we didn't.
Sorry, I let that go a little long. Forget about the bunk stuff. I should have stopped that sooner, but that's all right. But the point being, she understands it. She says, I was lied to. You guys said all this stuff to me. I'm angry about it. And she has a right to be angry. Yet she still believes it. She's angry, but she hasn't cognitively put, I'm angry because you told me all this stuff and you scared me. And now she's angry because you're not telling her what to do next. That's what she's angry about, rather than realize, oh, I've been lied to for a year and it was complete bunk. Like, she's just going, she's saying, you rattled me up, you scared me for a year, and I'm mad about that because now here it is, the thing you told me was the worst possible thing on the planet could happen, and it has happened now, and you're not helping me at all. You're giving me nothing to work with. So she's angry, but she still has not discovered, she still has not accepted that, she understands she was feared, she was fearmonger too. That she does rationally grasp, but she doesn't understand that they were lies, they were fearmongering her too. She's still buying into them. And here we go in 7:15. There's one last where she even goes in very good detail.
So we go through this stupid election and we don't win, whatever. And then no one comes out and says, hey, I know we told you that he was a tyrant. We straight up said he's a fascist. And I'm sure some of you are probably scared. We're not going to tell you anything. We're not going to tell you how to handle it. We're not going to tell you how to walk through it. There's been an uptick in the unaliving hotline. There's a HBCU that got burned, at Texas State, holding signs that say women's property belongs. Like, there's all this crazy shit happening, and nobody's coming out and saying, like, we know that you're probably freaked out. We know you might be scared. We know we said he was a tyrant, unhinged, and crazy. Somebody come out and be like, we scared the hell out of you. We know he's elected. I know people are scared. I know, like, you said he was a tyrant. You said he was going to be a dictator. You said that he was unhinged. And now you've just abandoned us. And there's a lot of freaked out people, and I'm really pissed. I'm really pissed. I'm beyond the kumbaya. You scared the hell out of a lot of people, and nobody's telling us what to do. No one's telling us, oh, we're supposed to just all get along now? Like, what the fuck? So you got us all to vote for you because you scared the shit out of us. And now that he's won, you're not telling us what to do now. You're just like, oh, well, keep going. And I feel like you've abandoned us. A lot of fucking people are scared and nobody's helping us. Nobody's telling us what to do now that we have a fucking dictator coming. Or now that there's a fascist that's going to be president. What are we supposed to do now? You don't say anything. You feared monger us all the way into the election booth, and then you just abandon us when he wins. I'm just pissed. Good morning.
So there you have it. There you have it in their own words. What she's not grasping, though, is that she understands she was fear-mongered. So she's got that rational ability. She understands they lied. They just scared her up to get her vote. But she's not realizing that those fears were just lies. Because if it was true, yes, she's right. You abandoned us. You told us all was going to happen. Give us something to work with here. If this is true, what should we do now? But it wasn't true. It never was true. You fear-mongered these people. You played with their emotions. You did this to them because you are evil people. You're evil. You are. These were not human beings that you were playing with. These were not human beings with souls and emotions and feelings. I mean, you knew they had feelings because that's what you used to manipulate them with. But they weren't human beings to you. They were cattle. They were just a vote. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Every last one of you that did this should be ashamed of yourselves. And people on the right side of the aisle that have done this kind of thing in the past should be ashamed of themselves too. But this was the most extreme example I've ever seen in politics. I mean, we literally had the sitting vice president of the United States going out repeatedly saying her political opponent was a fascist and a Nazi and a dictator. Is that a campaign of joy? Remember? Remember when this all started? When they replaced Biden with her? This was supposed to be joyous, right? This was going to be a joyous campaign. We can feel the joy in the room. I can show you clip after clip after clip of reporter and pundit and moron out there lying. Oh, it's joyous. It can feel the joy. Oh, yes, it's so joyous. This Democratic National Convention is so joyous. It's a joyful campaign. Is that campaigning what I just showed you Kamala Harris saying? Campaigning, is that joyous? Are these ads that they ran for 2025 joyous? Are these joyous things?
Very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Is this joyous to
plans
you?
for exactly what our
Is this positive
movement
messaging?
will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever, overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Donald Trump may try to deny it, but those are Donald Trump's plans.
Now, is that a hopeful, joyous campaign message? Is that a hopeful ad? This is the crap they ran for, since she came into power, since she came into as the nominee. Is that joyful? These people are just scum. They're scum. They should be ashamed of themselves. Have they come out and apologized? Have they come out and apologized to this woman and others like her? Have they been honest to the date? No. They didn't have any problem manipulating people like this. None. And if you're one of them, I feel sorry for you. I am. I don't agree with you politically. I guarantee I probably don't agree with you politically on a lot of things. But this is inhumane. What they did was inhumane. It's unconscionable. It's unforgivable. So while we can mock the reactions these people have to this election loss, we need to have empathy and understanding that this is what these people did to them. And it's inexcusable. And I'm sorry if you're one of these people and you fell for it. I really, truly am, because no one should have their emotions played with like this. And I hope you come to the realization you were lied to. You weren't just fear-mongered, you were lied to. And I hope your anger is properly directed. This woman's angry, and she seems to be angry at the right people, which is good. But I still don't think she still hasn't fully understood that they lied to her to manipulate her for the vote. They understand she was fear mongered too, but she still doesn't understand that those fear mongering were lies. Anyway, this is inexcusable. That this was a national political campaign by one of the parties. This is where it went. It went there from the minute it started. Anyway, enough of that. Have a great day, everybody. I'm out.